Hey everyone, I'm Eric. I'm excited to show you how to make a ski racing game in OctoStudio. We'll race down the mountain and tilt our way to score as many points as possible. We can use any character or any setting you can imagine, even if that has nothing to do with skiing. So let's go ahead and create a new project. For my sprite, I'm actually going to choose an image that I got off the internet, but you can feel free to draw one or choose an emoji. I'll go ahead and add this skier image that I really like. And then for the background, I think I'll just choose a nice, simple white background for snow. I'll go ahead and resize my skier. And maybe the first thing we want to do here is have the skier move back and forth right to left when we tilt the device. So we can go here to the More Blocks category and grab one of my favorite blocks, the Tilt to Move block. And what that's going to do is when I tilt my device, the sprite here is going to move in the direction that I'm tilting. And let's say we only want the character to move to the right and to the left. So we can go ahead and say only tilt right and left to move. So let's give that a try. Okay, cool. We're off to a great start. Now let's make two gates that the skier will go through to score a point. I'm going to go ahead and add a new sprite, and I'll paint these gates. So there's my first one, and I'll go ahead, I'm going to select everything here, and I'll copy it and then paste it. And I want to move it over to the edge of the screen here. Now the idea is the skier is going to come through these, and when they come through, they'll score a point. Now let's have the gate start from the top of the screen and go all the way down. So to do this, I'll start by grabbing this move block, and let's have these move down, and we'll have that happen forever. Let's see what we get with this. Okay, looking good. This is a really easy game because the gates aren't moving to the right or to the left. They're kind of just staying in a straight line. So let's have the gate spawn at a random position on the top of the screen, and I can do this by saying go to a random position. So I'll pull in that go to block, and I'll have it instantly go to a certain position. And let's say we want it to go to a random position to the right and to the left. We can do this by changing this X value. So I'll click into this X value and hit the dice. And what that's going to do is it's going to pick a random position between 0, which is the top left corner, and 320, which is the top right corner. And then it'll start there. And then the Y, I like this Y, is 170. This is going to be a 0Y, and this is 180Y. So 170 is a nice place for that to always be spawning. Let's give it a whirl and see what happens. Okay, it's looking good. I see a few issues. One, I noticed that it's sometimes spawning off screen. You see how some of this is missing? So instead of having it spawn at 0, let's give it a little bit of wiggle room and say maybe 50. 50 here. And then instead of doing 320, which is all the way to the right here, we might get some cut off. Let's just say, let's keep it safe and do 240. And I also noticed that it's only going down 50 sort of steps or pixels here. We probably want it to go more than that. From the top to the bottom here is 180. So maybe let's say 170. So let's see how it's looking now. Oh, it's looking really great. Now let's have the skier score a point every time they go between the two gates. And I have a clever way to do this. What we can do is we can add a white bar that will be invisible to the user. And when the skier hits that white bar, we'll have it give them a point. And so to do this, I'll go back into the paint editor here, and I'll go ahead and just draw a white rectangle in between the two red gates. So I'll go ahead here. Okay, so there's my white rectangle. And then what I'll say is when I go to the skier sprite, when the skier touches this, we'll have it score a point. So go to the variables and do change score. So let's go ahead and turn it on. And there you go. It's totally invisible to the viewer because it's white. I do notice that there's a layering issue here. You see where this white bar is actually on top of the skier. So let's go ahead into our skier code and change the layering. So I'll change the layer to say, when I start the program, I want the skier to always be in front of everyone. So now when we play, perfect. Now let's try making a second gate to make this game even tougher. So I'll go ahead and make my life easy by just duplicating this sprite.
And I think one thing I want to do right away is I kind of want this gate to be another color. So I'm go ahead and just turn that blue. Looks good. Let's go ahead and try this out. Okay, so they're coming at the same time, which is kind of not what I want. Let's have that blue one come after the red one. So I'll go ahead and add a weight block to the top, and let's see what we're working with. Okay, not bad. So we notice when we start the program, this blue gate's just like staying here. So let's go let's hide it to start. So when I start the program, I want you to be hidden. And then let's go ahead and play. Okay, but then I have to have you show. Sorry, I'll have you show. Okay, there we go. That's good. Okay, so yeah, not bad. It's definitely more fun. I noticed that you don't yet score a point if you go through the blue gate. So let's go ahead and change that. If we go to our skier sprite, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this code and make sure that when I touch the blue gate, I'm also scoring a point. So let's go back. Looking good, looking good. Ooh, that one's tough. That one's tough. That one's tough. Okay, so maybe you can finesse this a little bit, but it's really looking good. And let's also have that score reset to 0 when you start the program. So I'll go ahead and do a set variable. And when I start the project, when I hit the play button, we'll set score to 0. Looking good. I think this is pretty solid. So I'm going to add just a few more things to take it to the next level. I want to add a tree to the right and to the left side of the screen to really make it feel like you're skiing. I'll go ahead and add a new sprite, and I'll check out the trees. I really like this tree here. I'll go ahead and move that into my project. Let's have this move maybe on the right side of the screen. I'm going to keep it so simple with this code. I kind of just want this tree to forever be moving down. So let's go ahead and do that. No need to overthink this one. Looks good. And then, my favorite thing, let's go ahead and just duplicate this tree by hitting this button. And I'm going to slide you over to the left side. And maybe I'll start you kind of halfway down here. There we go. Nice. I love it. And the final touch, completely optional, is what if the skier rotated to the right and left when we tilted the device? So I'll go back to my skier sprite, and let's focus on this set direction block. This block has a value in it, and it's the angle that your sprite is pointing. So it starts out at 90, and that's sort of facing forward. If I make this value less than 90, it goes to the left. If I make it more than 90, it goes to the right. So let me build a quick script here that says, when I start the program, I want to forever be setting the direction. And let's see what happens. So we see not much is happening, but we really want this value to be changing dynamically as we tilt the device. So we can actually have a value here, the tilt angle value, and use that to our advantage. So when I tilt the iPad to the left, we see this value becomes negative. If I tilt it to the right, we see that value becomes positive. So let's use that here to update this number. I'll say, let's start with 90, because 90 is facing forward, as we know. 90 is forward. And then let's have it add the tilt angle right to left. So when I insert this block into the set direction, when I tilt the device, we can see that that tilt angle value is affecting the direction of the sprite. It's just not affecting it so much. And why is that? Because when I tilt the device, I'm only getting a value like -9 or -6. So if we multiply this value here by, say, 3, when I tilt that device, the number is actually a bit more dramatic. So I'll go ahead and tilt it and preview. So now when I tilt it, instead of being like -9, it's -30. And then when we set the direction here, it's going to be 90 plus that more dramatic number. So we'll get bigger swings back and forth. So I'm really happy with how our projects turned out. And again, it doesn't have to be a skier. Maybe this is a spaceship, or maybe this is a unicorn. Anything you can imagine.